defense aspirants and all those people who are willing and who has the dream to join this defense services as a career and as an officer in either army, navy, or air force. So in last few years, I have been closely associated with NCC cadets, and me being a defense officer and recently retired from Air Force last year in June, I have taken upon myself to guide these people who actually require some amount of guidance to face the SSB. And what I have observed that these people are not fully aware the nuances or the requirements of SSB, and therefore it becomes a little difficult for them, or it becomes more challenging. So, as a defense prep team, I have tried to guide these people, and I am very happy to announce that we have amongst ourselves Corporal Vineet Nair, who has recently been recommended for selection into Air Force as an officer and in the flying branch. So, welcome, Vineet Nair. I am really proud of you that you have done a really wonderful achievement for yourself. Congratulations on getting recommended from the Air Force Selection Board. And I know it requires a lot of concerted effort to make it through the AFCAT and then further through SSB. And it is a life changer achievement that you have achieved. And really, congratulations on that. So, having done that and having achieved what you wanted as part of your dream, how do you feel now? And what is the level of enthusiasm? And आपके पेरेंट्स कैसे सोचते हैं आपके बारे में? And how are you feeling yourself right now? Can you tell me something about that?
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, inviting me here to talk with my friends, colleagues. So yes, I'm really happy about this recommendation. Since my childhood, I was always fascinated about aircrafts, and now after clearing this stage, I'm a bit more closer to my dream. And my parents are really happy about my success in the first go. So
Okay, very nice. And your parents will really be feeling proud of you to see you become a pilot in Indian Air Force. Being an Air Force officer myself, I would like to welcome you to the family of Air Force and the defense
thank you.
services in all. Okay. So
Thank
after
you.
your graduation, you must have had different kind of options available as your career. But what made you think and what made you choose defense as your career?
Yes, sir. Before my graduation, I was in a confused state of what actually I should select as a career option. But sir, here NCC played an important role. It brought me closer to the army and defense environment, and it actually made me realize that this career is what suits me better. And later on, when I researched on it, I gained interest in it, sir.
वेरी नाइस सो यू डू एक्नॉलेज आपको अच्छा लगता है ये बताते हुए कि एनसीसी ने आपको इतनी ट्रेनिंग दी और वो जज्बा पैदा किया जिससे आपको डिफेंस में जाने का एक इंटरेस्ट जागा और उसकी
Yes,
वजह
sir.
से आपने फाइनली डिफेंस सर्विसेज को ही आपने एक ड्रीम समझ के एक करियर के लिए आपने उसे चुना वेरी नाइस सो व्हेन यू क्लियर्ड योर एफकेट एग्जाम एंड गॉट योर एसएसबी कॉल so were you aware that what is expected out of you in the SSB, though there are a lot of information available on YouTube, but personally, were you fully aware as to what is the expectation from you regarding your personality test, regarding your psychology test, and the GTO task, and the nuances of the interviewing officer? So were you fully aware or you wanted some guidance?
Exactly, sir. As you said, that these kind of informations are available in the internet, and I had a basic outline about what's the procedure of this SSB, but not fully aware about what actually they want from you. Like each and every task demands something from the candidate. So these things were not available in the internet, and someone really experienced and knowledgeable person can only tell you about these insights of the SSB, sir.
Exactly. So you understood this thing, and then you tried to seek certain guidance. So I'm glad that as a defense aspirant, you did consider yourself necessary to seek certain amount of formal guidance, because without which it may not be complete in a nature or so. So, what were your consideration in your mind when you wanted to choose a certain guidance for your SSB preparation?
Yes, sir. So, since I am an NCC cadet, so I have people like, obviously the officers around me. So, no better than these people who can tell exactly about what is the SSB and the whole procedure. And since I know you, sir, from my second year of NCC, and when got to know that you are taking SSB crash course and the guidance preparatory, this is the best chance I thought I would go with. And exactly this, the whole 7 days or the whole course, it was very useful. And actually, I got to know that what is exactly demanded from the SSB, and your tips, everything was really helpful for me.
Okay, good to know that you I provided you certain amount of guidance and a paths to follow. Finally, it is upon the students. बच्चों को ही
Yes.
करना पड़ता है, and they have to work hard. They have to practice a lot, and then seek guidance from somebody who knows about all these things. And then it becomes complete, and the confidence level is very high. So I'm very happy that you were benefited by the crash program that we did it for you all. So, as you said, that the SSB is the test of desired personality. So, it is
Yes.
basically what they're looking for, desired personality. It is a measurement of OLQ, and it
Yes.
is blended with the right approach. Okay, so these are the things that I have told you to display over there. And if you can manage to display this, I think most of the people do get recommended. So, how did the guidance program finally help you in aligning yourself, in basically channelizing your effort to crack the SSB part, basically for psychology, GTO, and interviewing officer?
So first and foremost thing which every candidate should keep in mind, that you should be yourself, and you should be guided in such a way that the other person is not molding the way he want you. You should take the points, you should apply it in yourself. That's what the personality test is done. And the guidance program in the first phase, it totally focuses on the screening procedure, because that is the most important, I think, in the whole 5 days. Because if you pass the screening, then only there's a value, means
Yes,
SSB देने का वही एक मतलब रहेगा, otherwise you are just
बहुत
getting back on the first day itself. So
बिल्कुल सही
combining
बात
the
बोला आपने.
screening process and the other, like the GTO task, everywhere somewhat personality is being focused on, and how the way you like treat and give portray your personality is really important. That's all, these things are what this guidance program tells you, which really helps me a lot.
वेरी नाइस, वेरी नाइस, बिकॉज आई ऑलवेज एम्फसाइज दैट स्टेज वन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और आपने
Yes.
भी देखा है कि सिर्फ 15 से 20 या मे बी 10 से 20% ही लोग स्क्रीन इन होते हैं, बाकी सब स्क्रीन आउट हो जाते हैं. बिकॉज द असेसर कम्स टू नो द रियल एटीट्यूड और द रियल कैपेसिटी और द क्वालिटीज दैट द कैंडिडेट्स आर हैविंग और नॉट. So it is very essential the stage one preparation should be given more emphasis, and that is what we have done in our crash course. Now, coming to specific of stage one, as you say, it is very important. The first thing was your perception and story writing. So, how did you handle that as to what were there in your mind before you attempted to write the story?
So in this course, during the PPDT, it was told that you are getting enough time for the story writing. 4 minutes is enough to write 100 words. So first, the 30 seconds which you get for the PPDT, you should utilize that whole 30 seconds to observe the picture, because it is picture perception. You are not blindly writing a story. So getting into the details of the story, getting into the details of the picture is really important, and that's the only way you can get ideas about the story. So I
So
personally,
basically, learning the perception about the picture, whatever is shown
yes,
to you, how do you perceive it? It is basically perception writing rather than story writing. Very rightly
yes,
said, because that is very important. That is how your story will flow from there. Now, having written the story, now the next stage which comes, and you must have also faced it, the narration of the story. So this is the first time that you communicate in front of all three assessors. So that also becomes very important, because this is the first time that you are being heard individually by the three assessors. So what was playing in your mind before you narrated the story, and how did you prepare yourself, the story that you have written, and how will you narrate the same story, कैसे आप उसको नरेट करेंगे सबके सामने, इस चीज के बारे में आपने कैसे प्रिपेयर किया, और जो भी थोड़ा वक्त मिला आपको उसके लिए.
So firstly, you are getting only 1 minute of time, so it is less. So you should be always crisp and short while narrating the story. In my mind, I was like rehearsing the story in a very short form, and I followed the format of story narrating given by you. And these things combined with eye contact and confidence in you, you should just once you start the story narration, you should be uh, like not letting your mind like stammering or
Okay.
something, just in one
Okay.
go, crisp and short narration with full
So
confidence.
holding your confidence with you, and then speaking what you have already prepared, and deliver it with confidence, because all three assessor at this point of time when you are narrating your story, वो यही देख रहे हैं कि आपका communication skills कैसा है.
Yes,
और
sir.
ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, ऑफिसर्स के लिए कम्युनिकेशन स्किल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड दिस इज द ओनली टाइम that they are checking your real communication skills when you are actually narrating your story. So having
Yes,
narrated your story, next thing that you enter into is the group discussions. At
yes,
times ऐसा होता है कि सभी भीड़ में वो चिल्लाना और शोर करना ये सब शुरू हो जाता है. It is very difficult to hold yourself, and then very difficult to get into such kind of fish market. So in your experience, how did you manage to participate and contribute effectively as a team member in the group discussion?
exactly said, sir. In my chance also, it was a fish market, even though I was in a freshers batch. But
Okay,
what I personally think is listening here is very important. When you listen to others' points properly, you are able to put your points exactly in the same way. Otherwise, you are in a position that you are repeating your points, which is not acceptable. So listen
correct.
to every group members and cooperate, accept their points also. The motive of this GD is to build a common story rather than putting your story forward. So I
Exactly.
followed this. I put some couple of points in between and listened to the whole GD properly, sir.
Okay, that is very nice, because I have been telling you earlier also that this is the only
Yes.
tactics. You should not aim that your story should get selected and you become the champion. Nobody is the champion there. What they are looking for, वो यही देखते हैं कि आप कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं टीम एफर्ट
Yes.
में या नहीं. How effectively? They are not looking for leaders at this point of time. Leadership like qualities, what they're looking is in the GTO tasking at that point of time. But basically, for stage one, they are looking as an effective communicator and to be effectively contribute in the team game. That is, they are trying to find out the group story. So very nice that you maintained that cool with you and you participated, and they noticed you and you got screened in. That is the proper procedure. Okay,
Yes.
so all these things is a past now. Having cleared stage one, now you became to stage two. So you were now tested among only 30 people that were screened in. So now it becomes very, very personal. It becomes very, very, that all the assessors are now looking at you individually. So that was the stage. So how was your journey through the psychology test, through the GTO test or the interviewing test? So if you can start with psychology, how did you manage to handle the psychology test papers?
Yes, sir. So in the AFSB, the psych test is conducted on the same day itself. So it's quite hectic till the evening when you write for 2.5 hours continuously. So starting from the TAT, that is thematic appreciation test,
Hmm.
in which 11 stories, 11 pictures are shown one by one, and the last one is blank story. Here you
Okay.
should keep your mind calm and wa- here also same thing like the PPDT. Look at the picture, look at the details, and apply the picture to your daily life experience. That's
Exactly.
how you
Good.
can build a really good story. And
Okay.
coming to the VAT, you should be like not go through writing really good sentence or constructing good sentence. It's not about constructing sentences. It's about your imagination of what's come in your mind, your reaction about that word. So whatever comes in your mind, just write it.
Okay.
The only natural way you are giving your personality test.
Exactly.
And situation reaction test, write it short and look at the situation, and again connect it you your life's experiences. Be practical and logical is important in that. And for
Exactly.
self description, I would prefer that before going to the SSB, you should talk to your friends and parents and take their honest opinions
Opinion.
about you, and exactly write the same thing in the SD. You can prepare the SD beforehand. So,
Very nice. Because you know yourself, you have already taken inputs from your parents, from your friends, from your teachers, or from your siblings. So those are
yes,
the things that you have to write it over there. And there is no particular format. So if you can prepare yourself, which I have been telling all the people, अगर आप पहले से तैयारी कर लेते हैं, and you know what to write, so you don't look for words. Basically, you are prepared and you write those suitable word which defines your personality. तो जनरली विनीत लोग कैंडिडेट्स का ये कहना है कि साइकोलॉजी टेस्ट में टाइम बहुत कम रहता है एंड पीपल डू skip things and they are unable to complete the entire this thing. How did you manage your time? The time management आपने कैसे किया? And how could you complete all the responses in time and you could complete all the tests in time?
एग्जैक्टली सर, टाइम काफ़ी कम मिलता है, एंड विदाउट प्रैक्टिस आई वुड से इट इज़ क्वाइट हार्ड कि तुम वहाँ जाके ये सब इन प्रॉपर टाइम, एंड यू लाइक attempt every question in possible way. So the only thing is like keep things short and crisp. वहाँ जाके you don't need to write long sentences. It is what you are imagining or what you are reacting. So in reaction, they are just looking about what your ideas or thoughts are rather than writing the whole sentences. And yeah, practice is important beforehand. So
Very nice. Yes,
yes,
yes. What you're saying is very good because practice is important. How do you write it? How clearly you write it?
yes,
कितनी अच्छे से आप उसको वर्ड को पुट अप कर सकते हो? Certain words which you would have already heard earlier or you would have practiced before,
yes.
और वहाँ पे वही word आ गया, तो you know what is the right way of writing it, and it is all reflection of your personality. So too much of thinking is not required. Whatever you perceive in your mind, do write that. Psychologists are there to decide as to what kind of qualities or officer-like qualities you actually have. So next came the GTO task. So GTO task is a long task and it involves a lot of activities, number of activities, including physical also. So did you enjoy doing the GTO task? This was your first time, so you must have mingled around with your friends and the fellow candidates of your group, and then finally do the task which was given by the GTO along with them. So did you enjoy the GTO task when you did it along with others?
Yes, sir, absolutely. All the task is fun in them, and like being a team member and cooperating with your team, making new friends in such a short span of time, and doing this task with them is a really good experience, sir.
Very
Enjoyed a
nice.
lot.
Because unless you enjoy, unless you don't enjoy, you will not be able to contribute much better. If you are tensed
Yes.
or if you are holding yourself and you want to do something superlative and you don't get a chance to do it, then what happens eventually is that you lack all those contributions and you are not taken as a team person. So that is what they are looking as a team person. So next came the personal interview. Now this is a long
Yes.
and very knowing the candidate through thick and thin, starting from your background, उसके बारे में पता करना है, आपके अचीवमेंट्स के बारे में पता करना है, आप बाकी लोगों के बारे में क्या सोचते हो, आपका करंट अफेयर्स का नॉलेज, आपका ओन सब्जेक्ट का नॉलेज. लेट से you are a graduate person in going through AFCAT, so your level of intelligence has to be higher than those people going after 12th. So that is what they check. So how was your interview with the interviewing officer, and how do you rate yourself that what made you to prepare yourself better to face the interviewing officer?
So interview was pretty good, and mostly like we got this PIQ form. So whatever you write in this form, you should be careful and you should be honest. So in interview, speak truth. That's the only key for a successful interview. Whatever,
Correct.
if you are speaking truth, then even if the interviewer makes some questions or like contradict questions, you can answer it really well. And I guess that NCC helped me a lot, because through NCC I have already interacted with officers. So I was bit confident about this interview, the whole procedure. And yeah, talking about family, friends, if you know yourself better, then these questions are a cakewalk for you.
Very easy to
And
handle.
yes, sir.
Okay, so but he must have asked you about your hobbies, about your interests,
Yes.
and your education, your background. So you suggest, as you would suggest your fellow candidates, that honesty is the best policy. There is no doubt, and knowing yourself very well. और खास करके वो चीजें जो आपने पीआई की फॉर्म में लिखा है वो जानना
Yes.
बहुत जरूरी है, और उसके बारे में इन डेप्थ जानना जरूरी है, क्योंकि वहां पे आपको इन्हीं सब चीजों से सवाल पूछते हैं. सो इफ यू आर प्रिपेयर्ड दैट वे, it is very good. So what was your formula for preparing for the interview?
So first of all, from the guidance session, I got to know a few interview questions, like what is expected and what are the basic interview questions which the interviewer can ask. So I prepared that beforehand, and in my personal interview, I was first asked about my family, my academics, and these things which I have written already in my PIQ. So these questions he actually asks is like this way and that way. So basically, you are talking easy and your life. You are talking about your life, and then comes about the organization and the IF, the organization which you are going. You should have a basic knowledge about these things. Like,
Exactly. Hmm.
you shouldn't go that much deep, but you should always have a knowledge about the Air Force and the other two organizations.
Services
Apart
also.
from that, what's happening around you is important to know.
Very nice. Rightly you said, because people do not prepare themselves. You being an NCC cadet, you had the background of service knowledge and you knew
Yes.
about it. If you go for Air Force, you have to know a little more about the Air Force. For example, if you go for placement also, they would expect to know about the company. So it is same thing like here. If you are joining Air Force, if you are going for AFCAT and Air Force Selection Center Board, there you are expected to know, and if you have done a little homework, that is good enough. They don't want to know everything in deep, but you must prepare yourself. That is what you are meaning to say to the other people. You have to prepare it. It is facing an interview with good confidence, with good communication skills. Very rightly said. Okay, so what I wanted to know from you is that having done all these things, okay, once you are selected, and we pray that your medical test, which is due in January, a few days to come, and your merit list before you join Air Force Academy. So all these things will be, God willing, everything will be work out fine for you. And we would look that candidate like you who have been recommended by the Service Selection Board to join the services as a pilot. Me being a pilot of all my life for 33 years, I really know how much does it take to cherish and make the most of the opportunities that the Air Force has to offer. So that's really good to know about people you, and the way you want to guide other people. तो अभी एक जिस्ट में अगर आपको बताना है एक कैंडिडेट को जो अभी एसएसबी फेस करने वाले हैं, तो स्टेज वन, स्टेज टू, जीटीए हो, साइकोलॉजी हो या इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर हो, बेसिकली अगर शॉर्ट में आपको बताना है कि क्या करना चाहिए कैंडिडेट को, कैसी एक अप्रोच रखनी चाहिए, क्या एटीट्यूड रखना चाहिए. सो अप्रोच, एटीट्यूड एंड प्रिपरेशन, ये तीन चीज आप क्या बताना चाहेंगे अपने फेलो कैंडिडेट्स के लिए?
Yes, sir. So before going to any SSB, the first point I would suggest my friends, that is, you should know about the whole procedure very crystal clear. You should knowing about every task, what it actually demands from you. Second thing, be natural, be yourself. Okay, that's how you can fully portray your personality with full naturality in front of them. And third, try to gain knowledge, because if you have knowledge, you have confidence. So try to read newspaper and these few things which are like day to day life you can do. And last one, that is always cooperate and do not go like आगे आगे नहीं करना है. You should be a team member there. Like एकदम पीछे भी नहीं एकदम आगे भी नहीं, but cooperate and try to go with the whole team. That's how you can crack the GTO and other tasks. And by being natural and um, yourself, you can really score good in the psych test also and in the interviews.
Correct. That is how it really matters. Because if you are what you are, then the confidence is also there with you. If you want to behave or act like somebody different, then the confidence does not match up with what you are doing there. So that is very important. So from all the team members, I'm really thankful for speaking to us and providing a little guidance kind of thing, or some inputs or tips to those people who are going to face the interview shortly in the month of January, February, and March. So it has been really wonderful, and I'm personally very proud of you that you have joined the services. I wish you all the best in life, and maybe in future I will always be there for students like you who are aspiring to become an officer in the services, and this program will continue. I will leave all the details for the defense prep guidance programs that I'm launching for candidates, that will be there in the description box. What I can only tell you is that you are coming to an organization, or you are joining a service which is a very superlative service. आपको आगे जाकर के बहुत सारे अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलेंगे. As a pilot, you will be exposed to so many things in this country and also also abroad. So that is how you grow. It is not the end of it. It is the beginning of your journey. So you are starting from here. You are starting your career. This is the first step, is to get into Air Force Academy. Now gaining knowledge. Gaining knowledge does not stop here. Gaining knowledge of services and acquiring skills of flying. These two things will always remain with you till you retire from the services. So I wish you, Vineet, all the best. And I will also congratulate your parents, who are the proud parents, for giving you opportunity to join the NCC, and thereafter seeking guidance and going in for the interview through AFCAT, and finally making it as a recommended cadet. Thank you so much, and God bless
Thank
you
you,
at
sir.
all times.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir,
Vinny.
for your support and guidance. Thank you, sir.
Okay.